Okay, next time I'm gonna try to pick it up more carefully. So this is really quick. I just fixed it like 10 seconds after I turned off the video. So I'm not gonna, again, do the set review of the 928, but this is the one point I wanna make. So this guy is completely hollow inside, and that's just because that's what they did back then. This guy, completely solid inside, because that's what they do now. So, now, this guy is the exception to the rule. I'm gonna pick it up this way. I was so impressed when I built this thing that they left, like, even on like Benny's spaceship, like even Benny's spaceship is completely, there's a lot of solid areas inside the ship. And again, I'm not faulting that, because that's what they have to do. But when they built this guy, they really put a lot of effort. Yes, they put a lot of greebles and details inside the ship, but they left the inside, even, because again, absolutely adorable, by the way. I absolutely love this thing. This is fantastic. Even with the sliding door mechanism, which I thought was just the best thing ever. The interior is so empty, which is fantastic. And even with all the greebles and all the different spots they put inside for different cool things. I really enjoyed the 928 build because it reminded me so much of the original 928 with the space they have inside and everything else they have inside, and the additions, the complex additions, as they say, like the extending ramp and everything, and the self-locking, so you don't have to put that little 1x2 tile on the top to lock it in place anymore. Okay, let me see if I can pick this again better. See, I did it again. I gotta pick this thing up better. Oh, the landing gear. This is the one problem with the landing gear. It's a little bit. These are display models. I mean, they are infinitely spoofable, but there we go. So there's my 928, and this is my 918, and they are now sister ships because they both have landing gear on them, and I cannot complain about that at all. So in the end, one more for sure, so I can have a 924. But right now I cannot believe how happy, I mean, I'm always happy, but I cannot believe how much I am impressed with this re-release of 3 of the quintessential classic space sets that they had. Now, a lot of people are not complaining, but they're pointing out the 928, so we don't get the landing pad or the crater plate for sure, but the 928 came with a building. And so they're talking about they're going to rebuild the building with the pieces that they have left over from doing a 918 or the 924. All the power to them. Really, all the power to them. I could try, maybe. I mean, there's lots of pieces left over after rebuilding, even rebuilding this 918. There's tons of pieces left over to build maybe a nice little one-man building control console thing. There's a lot of control panels left over. It's an idea. I might try my hand at it, but in the end, this is fantastic. And you know, it's just my childhood all over again. You know, I was 11, 955. So that's such a long time ago when these sets were first released. And as I say, I only got the 918 for Christmas. I didn't get a 928 until well past that, and it was used. I never got a new 928 off the store shelf. That's just because when I was starting to buy my own Lego sets, the 928 was quote unquote discontinued, and we were in the 4-digit numbers. You know, because I could list, there's lots of them. I could list all the space sets I bought off the store shelf, even from the biggest one I bought. Forget anything past Futuron, because I bought most of those, the entire series, like all of M-Tron, all of Space Police 2, all of Space Police 1, or Space Police 1, all of Blacktron, blah blah blah. But for classic space, even the big sets, the 6970, 6971, 6972, 6980, 6981, 6985, right? Like all of them I bought off the store shelf. But the 3 digits, I never bought. I don't think I personally bought any of this 3 digit. No, that can't be right, because there were a few still left in the stores that were cheap, like $5-10 a piece, and I bought them, like the rocket launcher and the oh, for crying out loud, the 886s, the 885s. I remember buying those off the store shelves because they were cheap. That's like just allowance money. But if I remember correctly, the Galaxy Explorer when I was 11 was $53 in the store, and so was the Technic Supercar, the 853, if I remember the number off the top of my head. So you could buy a Technic 853, or you could buy a 928. So for the same amount of money, and $53 was a lot of money in 1978. Like you guys might not get it now if you're younger, but $53 was a lot of money back in 1978. So I did not buy any of the big sets when I was very young or younger. I didn't start buying the big sets until I was well into my teens and making Lego Wars. Right? So the 6970, that was a hefty price tag for Lego Wars, and the 6971, that was also and again, I told you the story about me riding it home on my 10-speed from Jackson Square to here. So lots of memories were brought up just by me working on these 2 sets. I will say, if we're walking down memory lane and nostalgia, I wanted to build the 918 first, because again, as I said, it's the first set I got, first space set that I got, right? So right there. So that's why I built the 918 first. But as soon as the second box showed up, a day or two later, the one that Sandy pre-ordered, I built a 928, and it, I can't even speak. I talked about it on Facebook, but I'll say it here. I was happy. I mean, I'm not overjoyed, but I was happy. I'm building Lego. I'm building Lego sets. I'm building classic space Lego sets. It's absolutely fantastic. And thinking about how I'm going to modify the 918 to have landing gear, and I thought that was fun. Blah blah blah. I actually didn't get a huge nostalgic hit beyond me saying I'm building 918 because that's the first one I had. I did not get a huge nostalgic hit until halfway through building the 928 yesterday or the day before. I guess it was the day before. Until I got to the point where I was putting the yellow, black, yellow stripes on it. So that's almost halfway through the build, and I got to that spot on the instructions, and I was putting the yellow, black, yellow, and honestly, right then is like it hit me how nostalgic this actually is. Like, it has the same exact shape as the 928 and blah blah blah, and the same overall look. But until I put the yellow stripes on there, the yellow, black, yellow stripes on there, then it hit me, and I actually got a little misty. Like, I wasn't bawling, but my eyes got a little misty of the nostalgic of me wanting the 928 the years the Classic Space came out, because I got the brochure in the 918 and I wanted the 928 and I couldn't afford it. I got nostalgic about me getting my first 928, and just appreciating that, and then me doing that whole year of, bidding on 928s on eBay for an entire year and getting 12 of them. So, and going to a show and having 12, 928s in a Lego space layout, and people appreciating that. There are going to be other people out there that have a lot more 928s than I do, guaranteed. I don't have 12 now. I have like 8, maybe. So, well, now 9. But there was a huge hit. I was remembering, as soon as I put the yellow stripes down, I was remembering our good friend Jude, who would bid on the 928s that I donated to the charity auction at BrickFat, and how excited he was to get them. And that was just wonderful. So I really took a nostalgic hit. Like, it really hit me in the feels as soon as I got to that point on this build where I was putting the yellow stripes down, the yellow, black, yellow stripes down. because that made the set pop. Like, without those stripes, and I even say this in the original, without those stripes on the original, I don't think it would have had the lasting impression on people, because it just adds a little bit of flair, just a tiny bit, just that's all it's needed into the overall blue and gray. It was just a bit of flair. Some people say it was like their warning lines not to be in front of the engine, like in universe and blah blah blah. Some people think they're like just the stripes that connote their colors of like their flags of the classic space empire, whatever. Everybody has their own idea of what they're for, but they are there. And you back in the day on Lugnet, every time somebody built the classic space set, they somehow factored the yellow, black, yellow into it to designate it to be classic space. So it was such a huge part of my life, childhood, and even in my teens and in my 20s when I had my own space layout, my ping pong table in the house, and blah blah blah. And so it really caught me off guard, and I wasn't expecting it. That's the other thing that surprised me, because I built a 918 the night before, 2 nights before, and then I was starting to build the 928. And this is exactly the same kind of building technique that was in the 918, and that was fun. It was great old time, and having a great time with it, just building Lego for, having a great time. And all of a sudden I put the yellow, black, yellow down, and I was like, wow, I had to step back and just appreciate my memories of friends that I've met through Lego, doing classic space layouts for the last 15-20 years, all the good times we've had. And so this was a huge nostalgic fest for me. I don't know what anybody else thinks out there, but it was absolutely wonderful, and it gave me pause, not for concern, but for the joy of not Lego specifically, but what it has done for me over the years and the people I've met through doing what I do with this hobby. And I didn't get that when I built a 918. I only got that, and not even building the rest of the 928. It was just the yellow, black, yellow. I can go into, and I won't go into too many details, but I can go right now. I could list about 10 different Lugnet posts in the space group over the years when Lugnet was the quintessential place to go, where somebody posted some build, small, big, medium, 10 pieces, 1,000 pieces, whatever, that had the yellow, black, yellow motif to it, which moved me, and I was in wonders by it. Chris and Mark, just back in the day, just blowing the doors off of everybody else. Right? So it's just like Admiral Fazoom and Mark with the fleet marks and all that stuff. It just was a huge, it hit me hard. I think I said that already, but it did hit me hard at that exact moment. And I think that's going to live with me for a while. I don't think it's going to happen again, because it just came out of the blue, and if it happens again, I'll be ready for it. The nostalgic hit of this specific set and this specific one panel of instructions, putting those pieces down, where as I say, I just had to stop for a moment and just gather my thoughts and just appreciate the history of me and the 928 and Lego in general, and all the people I've met, and all the fun that I've had, and all the things that I've done. But now I've gone on too long. So I am going to wrap this up. Again, no set review, besides the fact that in the 928 build, they didn't cram the space with pieces. They didn't it's heavy enough as it is, by the way, but they didn't pack the areas with lots of solid builds inside to take up all the air volume inside, like they did with the 918. So that's just something. Everybody stay safe, take care. I hope everybody's doing well. I know it's been a long time since I put up a video. I don't know if I'm gonna get back into it. It's been a crazy busy summer. You can hear the cicadas out there just having a great old time. That's what our backyard is like every summer. And I wanted to spend some time out here, so sharing this with you, and that's it. I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.